With the water level rising, officials at Lake Mead are bracing for a busy Memorial Day weekend.
Lake Mead has been facing an unprecedented dip in its water levels for 23 years, but its fate has taken an unexpected turn, rising faster than anybody could imagine. Why is Lake Mead rising, and what terrifying secrets are emerging? Let's find out. Lake Mead is located on the Arizona-Nevada border and was filled in the 1980s and 1990s. The lake was basking in its full glory in 2000, with water lapping at the spillway gates. Unfortunately, the mega drought of the last 23 years changed everything, leaving Lake Mead almost 70% empty by 2022. Authorities understood that major actions were necessary to replenish the lake and counter its water deficit, and while the snow-capped Rocky Mountains did play a part in the increasing water levels, it wasn't a reliable or sustainable solution, especially with climate change affecting the amount of rain and snow across the globe. Get ready to learn the surprisingly simple yet effective solution they came up with. The US Bureau of Reclamation conducted a high-flow experiment, or HFE, between April 24th and 27th, 2023. The plan was to release up to 39,500 cubic feet per second of water from the Glen Canyon Dam. That's a much higher volume than usual, which mostly ranges from 8,033 to 14,631 cubic feet per second. As the water was released from the Glen Canyon Dam, it replenished sandbars and beaches along the way, finally flowing down to Lake Mead. Following the experiment, a significant rise was noted in the lake's water level, from 1,047.43 feet on April 26th to 1,051.67 feet on May 15th. Clearly, the experiment was a success. What do you think happened next? Pleased with the results, the US Bureau of Reclamation has announced that it would increase the amount of water released from the Glen Canyon Dam in May. The volume of water that will be released will be double the amount that was released before the high-flow experiment. The Bureau also declared, Reclamation has increased May's release volume from Glen Canyon Dam to just over 1 million acre-feet. However, they also stressed that hourly releases during May would fluctuate from a low of 14,051 cubic feet per second during the early morning hours to a high of 18,909 cubic feet per second in the afternoons and evenings. The US Bureau of Reclamation continues to monitor the situation and adjust Glen Canyon's dam's annual release volume each month as needed. Looking at the graphs shared by Lakes Online, we can see a steep increase in water levels from the beginning of May. If we compare it with the water level graph of 2022, the lake has a much higher water level this year in contrast to May 2022. Also, at the same time last year, the water level continued to drop till August and only regained a few feet in the remaining year. In fact, it reached an all-time low of 1,040 feet in July. Can you believe it was the lowest water level ever recorded on the lake since its construction in the 1930s? However, this year looks much better for Lake Mead, and the water level will continue to rise over the year, provided the Bureau can release more water over the summertime into the lake. Another reason Lake Mead's water levels rose above projections was a precipitation-heavy winter in the west. While on the one hand, climate change has triggered a century-long drought, on the other hand, it has invited heavy rains and atmospheric rivers across the region of California. The Rocky Mountains, responsible for almost 75% of the Colorado River's annual flow, experienced above-average snowfall. Solely in Colorado, water from snowfall was around 158% of its average for the time of year at the end of March. According to an analysis by Weather Underground, the period between March 2022 and February 2023 was the wettest on record and the third wettest 12-month period overall. Compared to the previous 6 years, only 12% of the country was experiencing drought-like conditions, as of February 28th, which is great news. However, a good winter, or even a few good winters, doesn't solve the persistent water crisis of the Colorado River, and sustainable water management strategies are crucial to its revival. What Christopher Kuzdas, a senior water program manager with the Environmental Defense Fund, says is enough to burst the happy bubble. We're going to see crazy good winters now and then, but that's happening within the broader context of aridification. We can sit around and hope for 5 or 6 good winters, but that's not good water management. That's just flailing around. We still have a huge underlying problem, and we need action. Does this mean Lake Mead's water level increase is fleeting and may not last the entire year? That's probably correct, considering how the West is swinging from one extreme to another, and any change may indicate short-lived relief. Ultimately, adjustment of water policies is the only way out of the climate crisis America is facing. Kuzdas stresses that policymakers should view this rise in Lake Mead's water levels from winter precipitation as a sign to build backwater storage, not to take everything out of the river that everyone possibly can. Here's an interesting fact that will put things in perspective in terms of the lake's importance in the Colorado River Basin. Lake Mead is a massive reservoir on the main stem of the Colorado River, large enough to hold the entire average annual flow of the river for 2 years. At full pull, Lake Mead is the largest reservoir in America by volume, falling second place only to Lake Powell in surface area. The lake extends 65 miles from Hoover Dam to Pierce Ferry and is marked by highly irregular shorelines, almost 550 miles long. Currently, Lake Mead provides municipal water to Las Vegas, Henderson, and Boulder City, along with municipal and industrial water and irrigation water for users downstream. More than 25 million people living in the Colorado Basin depend on Lake Mead, and without a doubt, the Southwest could not have developed as it has without it. Can you imagine the effect of the recent rise in water levels on the many industries relying on Lake Mead? Chad Taylor from Lake Mead Mojave Adventures commented, "Fishing, tackle shops, boat sales, fuel sales, you name it, there's an effect, and it's a ripple. So we all see it, we all feel it, and we're just excited that this year's going to be a lot of water." After years of declining water levels, docks had to be moved to deeper water, and Lake Mead Mojave Adventures, which provides houseboat rentals on Lake Mead, said that they would have to move the docks back for the first time in 5 years. Lake Mead's rapidly increasing water levels have uncovered an interesting site of a sunken speedboat that many have dubbed the monolith of Lake Mead. Last year, this speedboat made headlines nationwide as it emerged above the waterline and was surrounded by murky green water in the cove. The speedboat became a symbol demonstrating how much elevation the river lost over time. As the water level dropped further, the boat became accessible to visitors on foot. It was certainly a sight both fascinating and disturbing. During 2022, several trips were made to the speedboat to assess the lake's water level, and it was interesting to see how the area around the speedboat transformed with each trip. From murky water to waist-high vegetation, the speedboat certainly experienced a journey like no other. However, with the rising water level this year, visitors are delighted to see the sunken boat again and are happy they can no longer walk to it. Shockingly, the speedboat wasn't the only secret that emerged from the lowering depths of the lake. Do you want to find out what else surfaced over the years? As the water level receded, people found many previously sunken boats, old warships, and human corpses. Scientists also found something they never expected: rocks laced with volcanic ash that rained down on South Nevada during explosive eruptions almost 12 million years ago. Researchers immediately took advantage of the low levels to study sediment hidden for almost a century. But it seems the sediment will again disappear within the lake's depths as its water levels rise. The recent increase in the water level in Lake Mead is a surprising yet positive event that can solve many problems related to water scarcity in the region. However, only time will tell whether the effects will last. And if we consider the rapid rate at which global warming is affecting different parts of the world, chances are Lake Mead might never return to its full glory during our lifetime. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for more exciting videos about nature. Until next time, stay curious.